I'm Kev, and I gave myself just 28 days to go from 0 to 5K in my creative business from scratch without abandoning my authentic blueprint, which was joy, integrity, and play. So I'm sharing everything that I've learned along the way to hit my revenue goal and more, which I'll reveal to you in a second. And I'm sharing with you all of the insights and mindset frameworks that are helping me grow and scale my creative business from the inside out. So let's dive right in. If you're new here, obviously I'm Kev, recovering perfectionist. You heard the story, cowboy, architect. I'm just experimenting, and I'm sharing everything that's working for me with you so that you all can be inspired to do the same, that you can realize that you can do this creative business thing too. So we are on episode 15. There's just 2 days left in this 28-day challenge. So this is what's going on. I've had some huge breakthroughs this month that have really been sinking in these last few days, but I'm gonna save those for the end, so you gotta stay tuned. But a quick update, I got sick, so I took a 3-day hiatus from everything, from working out in the world, just to be in my body and heal up. So today's a new day, and let's talk about what is happening. Let's talk about my YouTube. 324 subscribers. I'm up 56 in the last 28 days. Pretty cool to see this. I just wanted to, share this journey, and that's pretty cool results. So as far as work's going, I poured some concrete today. I hate doing that type of stuff. I had a buddy come help me out. It was about 2 hours, paid him $60. I had to slam some holes in the ground and pour some concrete. It's not glamorous, but I mean, it took 2 hours to do this. I paid him $60. The materials were 100 and something. And that's 2 hours of work, and I already have $3,500 in the bank. It's gonna be a $8,000 project. So 2 hours in, and we're already more than halfway through the project. So you do the math, it's pretty good stuff. When you know how to sell heart forward and truly provide a service that is valuable and needed in the marketplace. Some other fun stuff I did today, collage of day stuff, just cutting stuff out of these old books that I have, and text and images, and having fun. I really love Native American culture and mythology, and so I love making stuff out of that. So update about Sauna as a service, we're getting structural. Yes, I sketch everything upside down because when I'm meeting with my co-founder, he's sitting across from me, and it's easier for him to understand what I'm doing if I sketch it upside down for him. So that's why the numbers are right side up, but everything else is upside down. We're getting out the structural plan. We're figuring out how the design works in harmony with the structure, and how they really celebrate each other, because structure is not an afterthought. It is part of the design. So I want to be super intentional about that. And so we should be ready for early next week sourcing this trailer and getting materials in shops. That's epic. That's part of our to-do list. Buy the trailer, yeehaw, get materials in shop, and then we got to go fuck up, And so with this business too, I'm also connecting with symbiotic business owners to find a home base that I can just cash flow this thing, so that instead of having to rely on it being carted off to whatever event to cash flow, I can park it in a consistent spot during the week. So there's some beautiful power here with speaking out what you desire and owning the dreams to play bigger and trusting those little nudges. So there's a guy in town that I've been wanting to meet who just renovated this amazing old property that had all these dilapidated shacks. That was a motel. And he turned it into this really, really, really beautiful but kind of high-end a boutique motel that's kind of hip and trendy, but it's not over the top. Everything's low footprint. The buildings are the original size they were. Everything just got a great facelift. It's a great clientele that comes in there. I've been wanting to meet this guy. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm going to meet this guy today. And owning that desire. And it's he's a pretty not hard to reach guy, but he's doing some big stuff. He's playing big. And I was like, you know what? I can play big like that. And today I was like, yeah, I'm going to meet this guy. All my buddies have been saying, you got to get plugged in with them. You got to get plugged in with them. And today I went and go into town for a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to this restaurant I normally go to for lunch. And I parked in an obscure spot, and I was walking through an alleyway, and he was walking in the alleyway, just us. And so I was like, hey man, are you Ryan? And we just started connecting and chatting, and I pitched him this idea, and he's super into it. And it's that's what happens when you really speak out your desire and you own it and you're ready to play big. Life collaborates with you in these beautiful ways. So pretty epic stuff. So now let's talk about cash. I just got another check today, just $600, but that brings our total up to what are we at? 51.75. So we are at, gosh, I cannot for the life of me type this. 51.75 for our number today. Actually, no, sorry, 57.75. Or no, 57.50. What am I saying? 57.50 this month so far. There's still 2 days left. Our goal is 5K. We're beyond that, which is pretty epic. So now let's talk about some of these breakthroughs. So when you realize how simple it really all is, this is kind of how you feel. You're just kind of flabbergasted. The biggest breakthrough for me was going from reframing the way that I relate to my desires through I should to I want. Now, let me explain. There's so many ways that we should ourselves. I should be more successful than I am. I should do this. Oh, if only I could have done, if only it would have been different, then I could have done this, that. It's like should, could, and would only create separation between where you are, and it comes from a place of shame. Oh, I should really be focusing more on that. There's a subtle shame for not doing that, which is the very energy keeping you stuck in the place that you don't want to be. So the way to get out of that is to reframe it, and instead of having shame around what you don't have, you can reframe just genuinely your authentic desire to what you want and just own what you want. Accepting what you don't have and owning what you want without the shame. Now the field is much more clear to be able to go out and create that. So I wrote a huge letter to myself about reframing all the ways that I should myself and owning the desires that are really inside of them without that shame. And here's a fun little diagram. Latent potential on one axis and the number of times you say I should on the other axis. Your latent potential is at its greatest with the most minimal amount of shoulds. The more you should yourself, the more you cut off your potential. I wrote a whole blog post on that. I'll link that below for you guys. And so another powerful tool is the avoidance list. So I talk about this a lot on my newsletter if you're not signed up for it. But essentially, the future that we avoid is the future we're bound to create. Because avoidance is this neglecting of this emotional side, and it's not being an acceptance for what is or what could be. But we tend to create it because it's like the analogy of driving. You're gonna go where you're looking. So if you're looking off the side of the road, you're gonna drive off the side of the road. No, it's a crude example. So when we focus on the future we're trying to avoid, we're living in more of a reactionary state. We're not living in a place of creating the future that we want. We're just reacting to try to not lose. But playing not to lose or playing small or hiding is just going to create the very future that you don't want, which is probably one where you feel like you're just playing not to lose, where you have something to lose and you don't want to lose it, so you just play small, all of those things. And then they reinforce the idea that you might not be good enough or that you've never had it cut out for you. Whatever your narrative is, avoidance tends to create that narrative and helps you. It also kind of shines light on you might already be living that now. If you try to avoid a future where you don't feel good enough, where you can't get projects off the ground, and you feel lonely, avoidance has it to where you're probably feeling all of those things now, but not fully allowing yourself to go into them, perpetually staying in the loop of those. So here's how to deal with avoidance and why it's a powerful tool. So make a list of everything that you're actively avoiding, and write until you literally can't think of anything else. Take a break, and then you're gonna revisit this list once you've had a moment to settle, whether that's later that day or the next day, and then write anything else that comes up. So when you're looking at this whole list, then you need to ask yourself, what is the one emotion or handful of emotions that I'm actively avoiding, that are hiding inside of these tasks that I should do, that I'm avoiding doing? So move forward by first leaning into that emotion and doing the one little thing that you avoid. Because chances are, if you feel stuck, there's an emotion there too. So craft your avoidance list. Inquire on what's the feeling that I'm not fully feeling inside of these things that I'm avoiding. And once you embrace that feeling, you might find it extremely more natural to start doing the actions. Because I'm much more interested in realizing why you're not taking action in the first place, because there's probably an emotion that's keeping you stuck from taking the action. It's not as simple as just do it, bro. You gotta get to the emotional core, feel that, and then move beyond. So then we got Sketch O Day. We have this Scotland Island House. It's not in Scotland, it's actually in New Zealand, by Sam Crawford Architects. Quick sketch, no watercolors, I'm sorry, but beautiful house. I love Shusugibon. That's my favorite, that burnt cedar siding. So yeah, that's all folks. If you haven't already, please join the waitlist for the Embodied Creator Toolkit, the paradigm shifting toolbox to equip ambitious creators with increased calm, resilience, and confidence in their creative business journey. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao.